We're making some ghost meringue cookies today, so let's get started. I think a big reason why meringue fails is because you didn't prepare your tools well. So you want to start by washing your whisk attachment and your mixing bowl with hot and soapy water. This is going to help get rid of any of the fats and oils. Next, you want to wipe down your bowl and your whisk with some distilled vinegar. Now, I think that it is a myth that we've been told that distilled vinegar helps to clean the bowl from the oils, because from a chemistry standpoint, it doesn't actually really work like that. So I did a whole deep dive, and I have a section on the blog post about why do we actually use vinegar and how does it help stabilize our meringue. We're going to be using a double boiler here to begin our recipe. So I have about a third a cup of water and it's simmering. Then I'm going to add the second pot on top and add in the sugar and the liquid egg whites. You can use a glass bowl or a different metal bowl, but just make sure that that water on the bottom is not touching the pan on the top. Gently whisk the two ingredients together, and we want to keep whisking until the granulated sugar has been dissolved. This is how we know that it is ready to go. So you can just kind of look at it and eyeball it and see that the sugars have dissolved, or you could dip a spoon in there to get a closer look. Don't dip any fingers in there, we don't want to burn our fingers, or you can use a thermometer that reads 110 degrees Fahrenheit. This mixture will be hot, so pour it carefully and slowly into your bowl. Then we're going to turn it up to high and we're going to let it mix for about 30 seconds to really start incorporating some air. Once it's been mixing for 30 seconds, we're going to turn it off and then we're going to add our flavoring. So I'm adding 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. When I first tried this recipe, I did 1/2 teaspoon and it was just a little bit too much almond. It was like a punch of almond to your taste buds. So I toned it down to 1/4 teaspoon. If you don't want to do almond extract, you can always do vanilla, but for vanilla, I do suggest doing 1/2 teaspoon. I feel almond is just a lot more potent for some reason. Then I'm going to add in the cream of tartar and also the salt, and then we're going to get to whisking this on high speed. It takes some time to get those stiff peaks, so we really need to be patient. I don't have an exact time because sometimes it depends even on how humid your kitchen is. I would say that this batch took about 5 to 6 minutes to really whip up into stiff peaks. You can definitely stop the mixer and check at any point to see where you're at. So you could see how this is still dripping off into the bowl. It still looks a bit liquidy. It looks a lot better than when we started, but it definitely needs some more mixing. You see how shiny the mixture has become? That's how we know we're on the right track. So I think that this is done, so I'm going to turn it off, and you can already tell that it's stiffer. When it's stiff and standing up like a peak like this, then you know it's ready. I prepared a piping bag with an 808 Ateco tip. I love this tip. I use it for so many different things, but if you just have any round tip, you could also just use that as well. You want to prepare a baking tray with some parchment paper. And then it's time to start piping on the little cute ghosts, and this is my favorite part. So to do this, you want to make sure that you are holding the piping bag so it's going to be going straight up and down. You want to gently squeeze, and you want to start by piping a dollop, and then kind of lifting up, pipe again, and then lift up. And as you pull the piping bag away, you want to kind of do it quickly so that that little peak forms. And I just think that these cute little curled peaks at the top for their heads are just a really nice detail. Once your cookies are ready to be baked, we're going to put it in the oven that's at 220 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, we're going to bake these for an hour to about an hour and 10 minutes. Once the oven goes off, you want to turn off the timer, turn off the oven, but do not open the oven door. We want these cookies to slowly cool down, and we're going to leave them in the oven for about an hour. You could actually let these dry out overnight. This is going to help to avoid any cracking because they need to cool down really slowly. That's why I really like to make these at night, because I just turn off my oven and let them sit in there overnight the whole time. Meringues can definitely do some weird things like be sticky and crack, but there are solutions to fixing them. So to paint on the faces, I just melted some semi-sweet chocolate, and I'm using a food safe brush to paint on 2 eyes and a little tiny mouth. And then your cookies are complete. I think these are so funny but also cute looking at the same time. You can put these on top of cakes, cupcakes, you could just eat them by themselves. It's a really great, easy last minute Halloween dessert. You just need the time for them to cool. You can store these in an airtight container for up to 2 weeks without being refrigerated. Thanks guys for watching and happy Halloween!